Davey.
Following is an independently produced program. The views expressed within are not necessarily the views of WAVS Radio, its staff, or management, but are strictly those of the hosts, guests, and callers.
Financial Literacy is an educational program which airs on Waves 1170 every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Hosted by Hubert McIntosh, a CPA and member of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, with the number one goal: assist individuals to take charge of their personal finances. Please join us every Sunday night at 9 p.m. on 1170 a.m. or via your smartphone app, Waves 1170, or on the internet at waves1170.com. Waves 1170. 1170 a.m. It's Sunday night in the Caribbean, man. Hubert McIntosh is a member of the Society for Financial Awareness, and he's the man. Financial Literacy provided by Hubert McIntosh, CPA. Financial Literacy. Control your financial status. Here's your host, Hubert McIntosh, CPA.
Good evening. Welcome to a wonderful sunny, not sunny, but rainy Sunday evening in South Florida. Thank you for joining us once again. As it says, I'm Hubert McIntosh, your CPA, a member of SOFA. SOFA is the Society for Financial Awareness, with our mission is to help eradicate financial illiteracy in America, one community at a time. And I've joined with SOFA to help this community so that we don't fall into that statistics of financial illiteracy. So tonight is a very interesting program. I want to open it up because the last couple of weeks we have spoken about some interesting topics and we have gotten comments. So we want to emphasize that we are here to address your questions. The phone lines are open. 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. Call in. Let us address your questions. So the last 2 weeks we spoke about life insurance. And last week I left you with a topic. We got some comments that I did not cover it enough. So I think it bears justice that we should cover it. I introduced you to living benefits last week, where insurance as living benefits. 40 years ago, I mentioned that insurance was mostly for death benefits. But just like your cell phone, I love the cell phone analogy in the sense that I believe each and every one of us has a cell phone, so we can relate to it. So 30 years ago, there was no cell phone. Or back then, there was we had the Motorola brick. For those of you who are of that age will remember that brick phone. That was the first cell phone that we had, Motorola brick. And look where we have come from since then. That was 1986. I think the Motorola brick was introduced in 1986. And at that time, all it could do was to make calls and receive calls. Cell phone has improved. Oh my gosh, we cannot even measure the percentage. Where now cell phone is not a phone anymore, it's a smartphone. Basically a computer in the palm of your hands. It's the same way with life insurance. You now have the smart insurance. So tonight, I'm hoping that we'll share enough insights with you so that you can review your plan to see if you have one of those smart insurance. Because if you don't, then I'll be encouraging you that you know you need an upgrade. Yes, you need an upgrade. There's so many songs out there about upgrade, so I want to help you to upgrade. So thank you. And we also want to talk about tonight, we are in the height of tax season. So as you're getting ready to file your tax return, or you may have filed your tax return already, if there is a prodding question on your mind, we are here to help address that question. You can call us. The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. If you're not comfortable with that, you can email us, support@financialliteracy.info. support@financialliteracy.info. You can visit us on the web. We also have a website, financialliteracy.info. financialliteracy.info. You can go on there. You can make your comments there. You can put your questions there. And we promise you that we will get back to you within 24 to 48 hours. We also, when you go on the page, you will see a link. It takes you to Facebook. Yes, we have a Facebook page. We have a Twitter page. Yes, we do. And the previous shows, all the shows that have been aired since January 1, have been posted. So if there's a specific topic that you may have missed and you're interested, you can go on the website and there will be a link to take you to where you can see the posting of that show. The last two shows were was life insurance, clearing up the confusion, part 1 and part 2. So basically this week is part 3, but with a different flavor, in the sense that if you have questions, you can call in. We want to help address those questions for you. But we're going to go a little deeper into living benefits to explain to you, because I introduced it to you in the last 5-10 minutes, and some of the comments we got was that you did not say enough about it. But we even had comments where someone says, well, I didn't know that insurance has so much. I got to review my policies. But so tonight I just feel it necessary that we take a deeper dive into it. So as we talk about it, we know that life happens. That's a generic statement. We all know that life happens. So one of the best things we can do is plan for today. And that is why we are coming to you. We're coming to you to help you plan, whether it's life insurance, whether it's retirement, whether it's college planning, whatever it is related in the financial arena. That is the purpose of this show, and that is the purpose of SOFA. As I said, we are members of SOFA, the Society for Financial Awareness, where our goal is to bring financial awareness to you and to help eradicate financial illiteracy in America, one community at a time. And this is a community we're starting with. So almost every show we're going to talk about, whatever the topic is, we're encouraging you to plan, because you know that famous saying, I'm not sure where did it originate from, but a lot of us are very familiar with it. The person who fails to plan to fail. So I want you to reflect on that tonight as we talk about planning, in the sense that are we just going to roll the dice and hope for the best? I've shared with you before, hope is not a strategy. So if that is your strategy, we hope we can change your mind there. In some cases, you may have people who probably want to put their head in the sand and just close their eyes to it. But we're hoping that, that with us coming before you and giving you these insights, sharing this information with you, you will hear enough, or you will hear something that will trigger that where you would take your head out the sand. Okay, so that is one of the goals here, where we can share enough insight with you. So let's take a deeper dive into living benefits. What are living benefits? The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. So what are living benefits? So let's take a deeper dive into it. All right, there's a study Medicare. Most people have heard about Medicare. Yes, it's even in the news a lot. U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. It says there's a statistics that says, and this came out in 2015, it says that 70% of people over 65 will need assisted care. Will need. It didn't say may need. 70% of people over 65 will need assisted care. And that's from Medicare, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. So let me ask this question then. For those of you who are approaching that age or even have a loved one at that age or over that age, what are you doing about helping them to plan? They may not have made the plans, but what are you doing about helping them? And that was talking about chronic illness. All right, critical illness. We're going to dive into it, but we're just giving you some statistics here. Critical illness. One of the critical illness is stroke. It says that, and this was 2015 report also. The 2016 report probably have not come out as yet. It says $34 billion. Billion, that's with a B. $34 billion are spent on every year treating strokes. Yes, treating strokes. $34 billion are spent. So what does that mean? The people who spend those, do you believe that they may have had a plan? Yes, they may have had a plan. That's why it could have been treated. So we want to encourage you that you can have that plan so that if that beset you or befalls you, then you are in a position where it can be treated. So we are going further along. So living benefits. So what are they? What are they? The first category of living benefits we're going to talk about, and sometimes it's not a very comfortable topic. It's not a very comfortable topic talking about terminal illness. Terminal illness, that person goes to the doctor and, doctor, like a friend of mine the other day, she went and, the doctor found a lump. It's not one of those comfortable things when you hear a lady says the doctor found a lump, but I don't think it's anything. But let's face it, doctor found a lump and she's saying she don't think it's anything serious. She's hoping, and we're gonna hope with her also that it's nothing serious. But anytime you hear that word, it's a scary word, lump, doctor found a lump. Something is not right. A blood number was different. We have to investigate it, in terms of with even females, with mammograms, pap smear for females. For male, then, sometimes, and I want to encourage the men out there, because a lot of times prostate cancer is one of those cancer that can be treated if caught early. But a lot of times the men don't want to get tested for it. And I'm encouraging you, for those of you over, they says once you get over 40, you need to start, and medical science have made it easier now in the sense that the days when there's so many ways now to test for prostate cancer, it's less invasive than before. So men, I want to encourage you on that, because these are some of the things that with proper care and proper planning we can help combat it. So the clock, I don't know. I believe the fastest hour of the week is Sunday nights between 9 and 10. I don't know, but I come here and the time just fly away. So I got to take a short break, pay some bills. So stick and stay with us. Hang on to that dial. Don't move. We'll be right. Welcome back. Thank you for staying. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170, 954-792-1170. Give us a call. Help us to help you. Whatever questions you have out there, whether it's on life insurance, whether it's taxes. We're in tax season now. March 15th is the filing deadline for not personal but for corporate tax, and there have been some changes there, in the sense that March 15th is now the deadline for LLC. That's partnerships. Partnership usually be April 15th, but that has been moved up and changed to March 15th. S corporation remains the same as March 15th, and C corporation has been moved back to April 15th. But this year, April 15th falls on a Saturday, and anytime a tax filing deadline falls on a weekend or a holiday, it moves forward to the next working day. So this year, even though the deadline for personal taxes and C Corp is April 15th, you're getting 3 days extra because it moves to April 18th, because the 15th is on a Saturday and the 17th is a public holiday, a national holiday, which would have been the 17th, which would have been the first working day after the weekend. But because of that holiday, so the tax filing deadline now is April 18th. So I just wanted to share that with you. So any questions you have regarding that, any one of the topics regarding regarding financial literacy, whether it's insurance or whatever. So we are not a one-trick pony in the sense that we can only speak to you about one particular topic. We're here to help eradicate financial illiteracy. So as we on the other side, we started talking about terminal illness. So terminal illness is one of those, and we were talking about getting the checkup and so forth. It's never a good day. It's never a good day when that person goes to the doctor or goes to the hospital and the doctor says it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. It's one of those topics that we don't like to deal with, but as I said, life happens. It's one of those things that's certain. We are all, this show started and we spoke about that train, where we get on that train. The day we were born, we get on that train. Our parents bought our tickets, but we never know when is our stop. When are we going to get off that train? So the best thing we can do is to plan accordingly. Some of us may be blessed with longer lives than others. Some people may live 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. I think what I got the other day, I think the oldest living person right now in the world is 117 years old, And in America, there's a statistic out there that by 2050, in America, there will be 4 million centenarians. Yes, 4 million centenarians. Centenarians are those people who will be 100 years or older. Yes. But the scary part of that is, of that 4 million centenarians, that same statistic says that 99% of them will have run out of money. Wow. That's not a good feeling. That's a scary, scary feeling. So we are hoping that coming alongside you, we can make some plans with you to help you sustain that financial longevity, so that the life doesn't run out, longer than the finance, So terminal illness. So what qualifies for terminal illness? Terminal illness, generally, if you have been diagnosed with a terminal illness, that will result in death. Some companies will have it for 12 months. Some will have it for 24 months. So that's one of the first verification that you need to make in your checkup of your policy. If your policy has a terminal illness rider, you have to verify and identify How long is it? Is yours 12 months or is it 24 months? Please don't take it for granted that all of them are 24 months. That's not so. That's not true. If someone says to you that all of them are 24 months, please verify. Please verify. Look at your summary of benefits. You should see that on your policy. If it's something that you cannot read and you need us to help you identify that, you can. We have the website financialliteracy.info. Our goal is to help you identify these things. You can email us support@financialliteracy.info, support@financialliteracy.info, and you can call us. We are here from 9 to 10 on Sundays. That's just 1 hour, but we are with you 24/7. Via the internet or via the email. We know that's the best mode of communication for most people. So we have created that so that we can serve you. So we talk about the time. So terminal illness qualify if you're expected to die within 12 or 24 months. So verify that for you. Okay. The benefit payment. How do you receive the benefit? The benefit payment will be a lump sum. Lump sum? And the good thing, if you can think of a good thing regarding terminal illness, because it's not a good topic, but there's a good thing about it in the sense that if one is diagnosed with a terminal illness, there is no waiting period to get the money. So you can have a policy. You can take out a policy this month. And if it has terminal illness rider included in it, the next month, if God forbid, if something like that happens to you, then you'll be eligible for it with terminal illness. Couple of the others that we're going to talk about chronic illness, and we're going to talk about critical illness. Those come with waiting period. So it's imperative that you take time to plan accordingly, because chronic illness in most cases has a 24-month waiting period. You have to have that benefit for 24 months in most cases before you're eligible for that. So please remember that 24 months for chronic illness. So moving along with terminal illness, here it's here if you need it. And that's a good part about it when I'm saying, there's nothing good about terminal illness, but to know that you have the possibility of accelerating your benefit in a sense, like if you have a $500,000 policy, and you get a terminal illness report, in a lot of cases, and I should correct myself there. In most cases, and it all depends on the carriers, so I got to be careful about saying most and so forth. Some carriers you can accelerate up to 90%. Some carriers you as low as 40%. So you will hear, well, I have a terminal illness rider, but you need to find out how much can I accelerate. That's one question. What percentage of it can I accelerate? And then the part is, how long is it before, that the doctor expect me to pass away? Is it 12 months? Is it 24 months? So these are some of the things where it is so critical that you identify. Don't just take out that policy. Call your agent. That person who sold you that policy, they should know these things. If that person doesn't know these things, then you probably need a different agent. And in a lot of cases, you can call the companies. The companies will tell you. They have to tell you. So that information is there for you. Some companies also, you can take that acceleration as a lump sum. So let's use the formula with a company that will accelerate 90%. So you have an half $500,000 policy. You can accelerate the full benefit, that 90%, and that company will cut you a check or wire transfer $450,000 to your bank account. If that's what you want, The matter is you have choice. Suppose you want only accelerate 50% of the death benefit, then you'll be accelerating 250,000 and they'll pay you 90% of the 250,000. So why is it necessary? Why is it necessary? Because here it is, we're talking about acceleration of benefit. Yes, the doctor says you're going to die in 12 months or 24 months. Why are we talking about acceleration of benefits? You see, sometimes in life, I think there was a movie, I think it was with Jack Nicholson and Morgan Freeman. It was called Bucket List. Sometimes people in life has a bucket list. You have things that you were hoping that you could have accomplished during your lifetime, but for whatever reason, because life happens, it never happened. But here it is now. You're now diagnosed that you're gonna leave us in 24 months. There are two ways you're gonna take that news. You can take that news and you can go into a corner and you're gonna go cry and you're gonna say, why me? Yes, that's one option. You have that option. You can go in a corner, you can cry and say, why me? But there are other options. You can say, well, wow, what are the plans? What can we do? What treatment can we implement? And a lot of times when it's terminal illness, the treatment plan involves money. So it's not about that, you may say, well, I have health insurance, my health insurance will cover it. Yes, the health insurance will cover the health part of it if you have a good enough insurance. But as you're going through this treatment, what about the caregiver? Who's going to go with you? If you're going to travel, who's going to take you? Because your health is not good. Who's going to take you? Who's going to transport you? Yeah, you may have good family members, but they have work. They have to work. What if this treatment plan is going to be 3 months, 6 months? How many people can take off from work for 3 months, 6 months without having some financial resources? And this is where, if you have something like this, you can accelerate that death benefit and give yourself a better chance to fight and beat this illness. Yes, there are ways to do it. It doesn't mean you're always going to be successful, but at least with the finance, you're going to be able to give it your best fight, So that is how the terminal illness part works. As I said, you can take it full acceleration and you can take partial acceleration. So it all depends, or you can leave it to your beneficiary. So it's all depends. So as I said, this time just keep flying, so we got to go and pay some bills. So just stick and stay with me. I'll be right back on the other side. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170, 954-792-1170. You guys are not calling. I know it's not a very comfortable topic we're talking about tonight, but it's a necessary evil. Life happens. So we just finished talking about terminal illness. There's so much more that could be said, but the encouragement here, I wanted to introduce it to you so that you can evaluate, check your policy. Do you have those benefits on your policy? Oh, and by the way, that policy for these acceleration benefits is, some companies have it. There are three ways. You have some companies have it on term products. Some companies have it only on cash value policies. And you also have some companies that may have it on their term but don't have it on their cash value. And you'll have another company that has it on their cash value policy but don't have it on their term. And you also have other companies where have it on both. So that's why it is so important that you check out yours to see what is it that you have. And if you don't have some of these things that we're talking about tonight, you need to get an upgrade. Yes, you need to get an upgrade, because if you're still with that old insurance, you need to have smart insurance. So the next topic we're going to talk about is chronic illness. Chronic illness is going to come with some greater qualification than terminal illness, in the sense that terminal illness, a lot of times people will say insurance companies are not good, or whatever belief that someone has in the sense. But one of the things with terminal illness rider is that there's no waiting period, because they know what the person is going through, they know what family members are going through, so there are no waiting period on a lot of them. Chronic illness now has some more stringent requirements, so it's going to encourage you that the quicker you plan, it's better for you. So what qualifies? The qualification is a doctor is certified within the past 12 months that you are unable to perform 2 out of 6 activities of daily living. So let me repeat that. Within the past 12 months, you are unable to perform 2 out of 6 of the activities of daily living for a period of at least 90 consecutive days without assistance, or that you're cognitively impaired. So chronic illness also comes under that, where someone is cognitively impaired. We are going through where dementia and Alzheimer's has increased, and those would fall under the cognitive impairment, where someone can accelerate the benefits and they can get benefit for those chronic treatment. And with that, the chronic treatment, and there's so much moving targets there, in the sense with different companies and even different states, some state, like even Massachusetts. I'll give you an example with Massachusetts. For you to get benefit from chronic illness, you have to be in the facility. You have to be in a facility. Like a state like Florida now, you don't have to be in a facility. So these are some of the things that is so critical to identify what are the conditions. So don't just accept the general statement when someone says to you, yes, your policy has chronic illness benefit. What does that mean? Let the person explain it to you. It's the responsibility of that agent to communicate and explain to you what is it that you're getting. Don't just accept general statement, right? So what are the activities of daily living? I'll address it here. It's bathing, continence, dressing, eating, toileting, transferring. So what it's basically saying, if someone has to help you with any two of those, then the person will be eligible to get chronic illness benefits. But the policy would have to be in effect for 24 months. So I want to encourage you, if you look at yours and yours don't have it, check 24 months from now, and let's try and help you upgrade, so you don't have to put yourself in that position where that happens to you and you go and you put in a claim and then you realize it says, oh my gosh, you only have your policy for 18 months. No, you're not gonna get any payment for that. So I just want you to be aware of that. Receiving your benefits. All right. Generally, the rider needs to be enforced. I've told you that, for a period of 2 years. There is an annual limit. There's an annual limit on the amount of benefit you can receive. It's so interesting. We're talking about insurance and we're talking about annual limit. You guys, you're gonna be amazed at this one. Who do you think established that annual limit? Someone would say, well, it's the insurance company. No, it wasn't the insurance company. That annual limit was established by the Internal Revenue Service. So here it is, you're talking about insurance, and you're thinking in general, most people think, well, oh, that limit was established by the insurance company. No, the insurance company doesn't care. The insurance company will pay you whatever you are entitled to. But the IRS limits the amount that you can get per year, and I know that has that has shocked a lot of you. So when I talk about insurance being, when we were even talking about the comparison with qualified plans, all of these things are in the Internal Revenue Code. The insurance we're talking about, cash value insurance, is 7702 of the Insurance Revenue Code. Versus, you have 401k, 408, 457, 403, all of these things, 412e, all of these things are Internal Revenue Code. So, so it's not something that's out there, and it's not part of the tax code. So I encourage you to be educated, and that's what we're here for. So chronic illness, what the importance of it is, because even though it doesn't say long-term care in a lot of cases, but if you think of the definition of long-term care, for you to get, someone may have a long-term care insurance, which is separate. But the challenge with a separate long-term care insurance, you have to remember, if you have a long-term care insurance by itself, if you never had to use that, wow, the money that you put in may have just been gone. It's just gone. You put the money in, you didn't get any benefits. And sometimes people get critical, even of the insurance company, because of the plan that they bought and it was not properly explained to them. But you have other insurance that has these benefits built into it outside. It's like, say, for instance, you go with that cell phone again. Let's go back. I use the cell phone analogy a lot because all of us, well, most of us, let me say, most of us as a cell phone. You have cell phones with a data plan. You have some cell phone that may not have a data plan. You have cell phone that has a text plan. It may not have a text plan, but some has a text plan, some has a data plan, and some, so there are different benefits. They have plans, they have international plans, they have Caribbean plans, they have North American plans. So it's the same way with insurance. You have different benefits. So don't just accept it as it is. Identify what are your benefits. So the good thing with a chronic illness rider on life insurance is now, if one of those things happen where you cannot do two of those, then you can accelerate the benefit if you choose. So let's use that same $500,000 death benefit. And you guys keep hearing me talking about the death benefit. It's because all of these riders are measured as a percentage of the death benefit. So even though you're not dying, it's measured from the death benefit. So if you have a $500,000 policy, 500,000, your acceleration is going to be limited to that. While if you have $1 million policy, then your acceleration is going to be greater, because if it says 90%, as we spoke about in the sense of terminal illness, 90%, it didn't say the dollar amount. It says 90% of the death benefit. So if the death benefit is 500,000, then 90% will be 450. If the death benefit is $1 million, then 90% will be 900,000. So these are some of the evaluation you need to do and look at to see what is it that you want, because it's all about what you want. So this clock is just flying. So we got to break again for a short commercial break and go pay some bills. We'll be right back. Stick and stay with me. Welcome back. Thank you for sticking and staying with us. We are down the home stretch. This is the last quarter hour. The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170. 954-792-1170. I am well aware that the topic we're talking about is not a very exciting topic, but it's a topic that we all have to deal with in one way or another, whether it's for ourselves or whether for a loved one. As we finish up with chronic illness, I'll repeat that statistic I shared with you. It says the Center for Health and Human Services, Medicare, U.S. Department Health and Human Services, says that 70% of people over 65 will need assisted care. 70%. So let me break that down, because sometimes we throw out percentage. It means you put 10 seniors, 10 people over 65. If you line them up to stand up, 10 of them, 7 of those people gonna need assisted care. 7 out of the 10 will need assisted care. The thing is, we don't know which 7. We don't know which 7. So are we gonna roll the dice and hope that we are not in that 7, or our loved one is not in that 7? Remember, one of the things we don't subscribe to. If you want to roll dice, there's a place for that. There's a place for that. You know, people do that in Las Vegas. People do that in Atlantic City. You do that on cruise ship. But we're not talking about rolling dice. We're talking about getting literate, getting educated. The phone lines are open, 954-792-1170. So we're going to move to the next topic now, critical illness or critical injury. This was one of the topic when I mentioned last week. Some of the comments we get was that I went through the list too fast because I had introduced it in the last 5 minutes. So I had to be rushing through it so that where a lot of people were not familiar with what's critical illness or critical injury. We shared one of them. One of the critical illness is stroke. We shared that statistic where the CDC, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, says that every year, $34 billion spent on treating stroke. $34 billion is spent every year. You know, so stroke, that critical illness now, remember we're talking about waiting period. Critical illness is one of those where for you to get the benefit from the insurance company, the policy must have been in place for 30 days. So that's a time waiting period there of 30 days. So, you know, if it's 29 days, they're not going to pay. So the policy must be in effect for 30 days. So I encourage you, let's evaluate, review your plan, you know, contact your agent, contact the company, let them explain to you what is it that you have. And I can tell you as you explore, not many company has critical illness, not many company has critical injury as a rider. They have a separate plan where you have to buy a separate plan. And if you're not getting the right information, you may believe that all of these critical injury or critical illness that I'm going to speak about, that you have to have a separate plan for it. And I'm here to tell you that's not true. That's not true. You have plan that encompasses all of it. We also have plan where it's separate. So let's talk about what are they? What are the stuff that's considered critical illness? Some of the names you're going to be familiar with, some you may not, but I'm going to read them. ALS, that's Lou Gehrig's disease. Aorta graft surgery. Aplastic anemia. Blindness. Critical illness. A lot of people didn't even know that you have insurance policies where life insurance policies, if someone gets blind, that life insurance policy can accelerate it for blindness. A lot of people did not know that. Blindness. Cancer. Cancer is one of the number one critical illness. Because, so you're saying, but you already spoke to us about the terminal illness. But remember, someone can be diagnosed with cancer and it's not terminal. Not all cancer is terminal. So some will fall under the critical illness, some will fall under the terminal illness. So, and you have the different conditions where you have companies will pay for the long-term or for the critical illness versus the terminal illness. It will be based on stage, the stage of cancer or the diagnosis. You know, there are just so many different ways, you know, so that's why I keep encouraging you. Get a review. Get a review. Next one, cystic fibrosis, end-stage renal failure. This is a very common one, but sometimes a lot of us, we may not know what it is because we hear the term end-stage renal failure based on that pretty name. Well, it's not a pretty name. That's an insurance name, end-stage renal failure, but that's a kidney failure. A lot of times you'll hear someone where they are on dialysis or something like that. That is because it's end-stage renal failure. But so that's the medical terminology that used. But a lot of times we'll use it and we'll say, well, kidney failure. There's no medical terminology called kidney failure. There's no such thing. But because it involves the kidney, we say kidney failure. But there's not such there's not such terminology. You know, so it's end-stage renal failure. Another critical illness, heart attack. Heart valve replacement. And here it is. You hear heart attack and heart valve replacement. It's two different things. So with you having a plan that covers both, then you may get you may have a heart valve replacement, but because if your plan may have said a heart attack, then you would not get the benefit, because just because you have a heart valve replacement, it didn't mean that you had a heart attack. So you see how these little things can be, whereas you say someone says, oh, well, it covers the heart. Yes, covers the heart. But what does that mean? Heart attack is different from heart valve replacement. Someone can have a heart valve replacement, but they never had the heart attack. So if you have a plan that only pays for heart attack, when you have a heart valve replacement, you're not going to get paid for that, because you didn't have a heart attack. You weren't feeling well. You went and the doctor, they did a heart valve replacement. You didn't have a heart attack. Another one, major organ transplant. And here it is again. Major organ transplant can fall also under the kidney, because remember, you've heard different people where they'll replace a kidney. You'll hear, you know, one famous case that most of us who are familiar with basketball, with Miami Heat, Alonzo Mourning. I think he had a kidney replacement. You know, that's one of the more popular cases here in South Florida that we know of. You know, in cases like those, the insurance company would pay that. Motor neuron disease. You hear that name and you're like, motor neuron disease, what is that? That has to do with your nerves, the brain function. Stroke. We spoke about stroke earlier, where the Center for Disease Control and Prevention says that $34 billion are spent to treat stroke per year. So what I want to encourage you is that the people who spent that is because they had a plan to spend it. Sometimes we have this misconception to believing that whatever we have and we go to the emergency room, we're going to be treated. Folks, don't be blindsided. Yes, you're going to be treated in the emergency room. You know, I'm not bad-mouthing hospitals or anything, but the hospitals have expenses. You know, so you could be treated for something, but because you didn't have a plan, you don't get the treatment. You get patched up and you're out. So, you know, I don't want you to have any misconception. Another one, sudden cardiac arrest. The time is just so flying, so I'll just quickly run through that list again for critical illness. ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, aorta graft surgery, aplastic anemia, blindness, cancer, cystic fibrosis, end-stage renal failure, heart attack, heart valve replacement, major organ transplant, motor neuron disease, stroke, sudden cardiac arrest, coma, paralysis, severe burns, traumatic brain injury. Well, folks, I hope you have gotten so much that you're now thinking of making plans. Visit us on the web, financialliteracy.info. Email us, support@financialliteracy.info. The clock on the wall says, I gotta get out of here. Thank you for staying with us. We will see you next week. Have a good night.
Hubert McIntosh on Waves 1170 has come to an end. Don't be mad. He'll be back next week on www.waves1170.com. Hubert McIntosh is a member of the Society for Financial Awareness, www.sofausa.org. Promotional consideration provided by LifelineTax.com, the Remap Accounting Firm, the Wealth Management and Distribution Group, and the McIntosh Insurance Agency. Financial Literacy on Waves 1170 AM is a digital media production by Hubert McIntosh.